Okie doke, so here we go with another video. Okie doke, that's always a good way to start a video, right? Okay, I talked before in some other videos about how I already had an existing PC Engine before I got this unit. So I wanted to show you a couple of the differences here. And first of all, you can see this one is more of an off-white color than that one. And that was what I was talking about. It's kind of funny because this one was in much worse shape when I got it in the mail than this one was. So I guess just over time, you know, maybe sitting in the sun or something like that, this thing just faded a little bit more. But they've both been bleached, put through the same process of cleaning, so they should be identical. So there must be something different with this one, I'm not sure. But in the process of cleaning this one, I learned out how to open these all up and do all that. So I wanted to show you here. That's just a sticker, I think, from a company that probably like a rental place or something. But so this is what the back of one actually looks like. So a lot of these times you see these on eBay and they're missing this. They just look like that. That means they've probably been hooked up to one of these CD-ROM units, or maybe this just fell off and got lost. But I thought it was interesting. It says, I don't know if you can read it here. Let's see if I can get it close to the camera and let it focus. It says EXT bus, like external bus, but it's a really light pink color. It's kind of funny. I mean, I'd never seen one before I actually got this in the mail about a year ago. So just something to look for. Like on the Core Graphics 2 or just regular Core Graphics, these things are gray, but they do have the same thing. It's kind of a flimsy plastic, you can see as I push down on that. I mean, it's thin, flimsy stuff, but part of the thing of making the system complete, I guess, if you're really kind of anal about that stuff like I am. But one thing I wanted to show you here is you can see these screws here. Hopefully, maybe I can focus in on this a little bit if I... Well, no, it doesn't want to do that, but that's actually... Boy, I really wish I could focus in on that. It's a really strange screw. It's kind of got cutouts, and yeah, you can't really see it at all, so I'm sorry about that, but it's sort of like an octagon shape, or maybe more like a radiation symbol if you've ever seen one of those. Kind of looks something like that, so it's got little chunks taken out of the corners of it, and it was really tough to get these out, so I ended up actually using needle nose pliers. But this is an original PC Engine, and I'm not sure what is going on with this one here. Because just to test it out and make sure it was fully functional, when I got this, I took it out of here, and I plugged it in. This is the RF on the side, and the little 1 and 2 there changed the channel that it broadcasts on. So on this one, that's how I had it hooked up for the longest time, because this isn't modded in any way, and they originally came like this with RF out only. And my TV, I have an older TV I use for these, and it of course has an RF that I can put an input to. But this one, I basically took the power and the RF from this and plugged it into this, and it didn't work. And I thought, well, maybe it's the switches here, you know. So I switched that, still didn't work. Basically, it was like the snow on the screen, but it just kind of changed color a little bit. Whereas with this one, if you turn it on even without a game in it, it'll at least go white, kind of like an old Nintendo, if you don't have a game and you turn it on. So when I got around to cleaning this, I flipped it over like this, and I went down to my truck and got my needle nose pliers out like I was going to get the screws out for the other one, and I looked and I noticed these are Phillips screws. So that was sort of my first clue that maybe something had been done to this. So once I got this open, inside there was actually some solder points and wires that were just sitting in here. So these wires were soldered on to certain connections on the board and certain connections here on the RF, and the wires were just hanging in here. So there must have at some point been, maybe, you know, through this hole in the back here, maybe there was some switch that was out to allow it to play imported games, like, you know, some of these are modded to play TurboGrafx games. So I don't really know, because I don't know enough about what leads go to where and that type of thing to understand what exactly they were trying to do with it. But there was basically a black cable that was coming off of the back of this, and a black cable coming off of this, and then on the bottom there was a multicolored cable with 3 different solder points. So I just took some wire snips, and just snipped them all off, kind of cleaned off the solder as best I could because I don't have a soldering gun. I did that, put it back together, and it works fine, but it still does not output through the RF. So it works when I plug it in here, so I know I didn't mess anything up any worse than it was. But unfortunately, that is not probably ever going to work, at least not with my knowledge, to be able to output RF. So I just thought I'd show you that, some differences. So I don't know if this was maybe modded or hacked in some way, I'm not sure. But anyway, so just thought I'd do a video about that. Hope you enjoyed.